Hello and welcome back to Seaside Garage and the AZU project. There's a bit of it here and there's another bit of it here and a bit over there and some over there, and yeah, it's time to continue on this. And as you can see, I have already done some work off camera. This is a massive task and I'm not going to bore you with the same speech that I do every time about the quality of the work that I'm going to do and the attempt to keep the patina rather than to replace all the panels. I'm having a hard time not to excuse my work because it is a bit of a hack job because of what I have to work with. The materials is thin and all that. Oh, I already started making excuses. But anyway, I'm just going to show you where I'm at the body end. And then this video will be about removing the rest of the stuff from the old frame, the engine, the axles and all that. But one thing I'm pretty proud of in true Seaside Garage style, I have welded in a panel that is already a bit rusty. I have treated it with an over-troll oil, which I'm going to treat the entire car because, for instance, right down there it looks like this, but it's actually solid. I just need to stop that rust from expanding. But this panel is replaced and it was a bit of a job because on this side it was all right. Up here, this edge was really thin, so it was difficult to actually get it to bite without just blowing holes. And I do have some holes up there that I need to fix at a later stage. This part over here was also difficult because this is the area where the car has been in an accident, so it was completely folded in. But I made it fit and I think it will be just fine. Stuff has also happened inside of here, because as I figured out previously in the previous video, this panel up here was also rusted away. So I've welded a new piece in. The same problem, very thin material, so I had to do some welding that I would have loved to just use plug welds, but it just wasn't possible. So it is what it is, and I had to weld on the brackets for the handbrake and the gear changer. It is not perfect, but enough about that. I'm gonna start stripping this down, and the first thing I want to do is to undo the nuts down here so I can take the drive shaft out, and then I can start removing the engine. So first thing, I need to remove the cotter pin. That is not looking very old, so I guess that the previous owner has been working on this part of it. Now the bearing seems tight at least. What about the kingpin? Not so tight. Let's try to undo that. Say hello to my little friend. There we go. That was easy. Set and done. And with that out, I think I can just push this part of it in. Probably will be a little bit difficult with this axle being this low. I actually think I will have to lift it a little bit right there. It's just to get it free from this panel right there. I think I can now push it in and remove it. Like so. And then I can cut this and just remove the drive shaft part out here. I need to change the gator anyway. It's split. There we go. So I will do the same on the other side. That was a lot easier over here. The thread on the other side is a bit worn, which is a bit of a shame. There we go. By the way, I lifted it with the jack on the other side to pull it out, but I forgot that the suspension is actually off, so currently it is very easy to move. So let's undo the scaffolding holding the lamps in. Next up, I want to remove the engine. And when it's off, I'm gonna separate it and put it on the engine stand. Before I can lift it, I need to undo the brake cables and the brake line. And that is probably about it. And I'm just showing you all this because I want you to enjoy the simpleness of the 2CV. It's just so basic. This is the handbrake mechanism. Just trying to pull it through. And then I want to undo the clutch cable. This is the pedal, or the thing the pedal presses on. And the clutch cable goes up right there. So I'm just going to undo that. There we go. And yup, that's it pretty much. I need to undo there's 2 bolts right there on the engine mount, and then there's 2 at the front end. But I'm just going to put the crane on. It's possible to lift this off, especially if you have a helping hand. But I'm just going to use the crane today because I'm alone and there's no reason to stress. There we go. Then I can undo the bolts back here and the ones at the front. I'm just going to zip these off. There we go. Oh, is it the fuel line? I forgot to disconnect. Yep. It's getting a bit tight now. There we go. There's always something you forget. This is the power unit of a old school 2CV, transmission and everything. And brakes, by the way, front brakes at least. Very simple setup. Transmission, gear stick, starter motor, one of the big things on this, drum brakes, and the actual engine, 2-cylinder engine. Simple stuff. I just want to undo the exhaust so I can split the 2 halves. There we go. And then I'm going to undo the bolts, keeping the 2 halves together. The lower one on this side is missing. But the exhaust is on it, so I need to remove that also. There we go. There we go. The transmission is off, and it might look heavy, but it's really not that bad. There we go. And before putting this engine on the engine stand, I also want to remove the clutch because it makes it easier to put it on. This is an old car, so there's a high probability of asbestos in this, so I'm going to mask up, and I'm also going to put some water on it just to neutralize and bind the dust if there is any. There we go. Now I think I can remove that clutch. Little, tiny clutch. There we go. And then I can attach this plate for the engine stand. we go. And we got reverse lift off. There we go. And now I'm just going to remove all the small fittings, the brake master, the axles and all that from the old frame. And this is the damaged leg, the one that I tried to straighten, and now I can really see how thin and deformed it is. I actually think this accident has been pretty hard hit at one point. And then I want to remove the front axle. I'm just going to remove it as one big unit and then take it apart later on. I need to bend out the locking piece of metal that locks the bolt in place, the axle bolt. This might snap. Yep. There we go. Then I will do the same on the rear. And with the power of editing this one, should come off pretty easily now. More editing. With the power of editing, this one comes off very easily. Oh, it's more heavy than I was expecting. And that's about it. There's still some small fitting, but this is the time where I'm going to take this chassis outside so I can get the new one ready to install all the parts again. I'll tell you one thing. This is a lot lighter than the new chassis. It's probably 10, maybe even 20 kilos lighter. I can carry this no problem. That over there I can also carry, but I won't do that unless I have a helping hand, because it's, yeah, a lot of material must have rusted away on this, or maybe they were just a lot thinner, I don't know. I think it's a great call to abandon this one at least. So that's it. The chassis is outside of the garage now. There are still some minor parts that I need to pick from that. But next bit will be to get that chassis over here. But firstly, I want to clean up, and I need a helping hand, so it won't be today. Not for the cleaning up, I can manage that myself. But anyway, thanks for watching. I just saw that Johnny Smith from the Late Break Show is also saving an old 2CV and trying to keep the patina. So he probably stole that idea from here. Anyway, even though I haven't seen the Late Break Show video about the 2CV just yet, I will, because I really enjoy his videos. I'm pretty sure that they are going to interest you if you like this video. So there will be a link in the description to that if you don't know it already. And don't forget that you can support me on Patreon. There's a link down below. And thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.